comments on forums on Fujifilm on Facebook, and I want to do the test myself. I know I saw a recent one, and he was doing this where you put the hand in front of your face and it would focus on the hand. Like I'm doing this. If I cover my right eye, it's still in focus, I believe. Even when I put my hand out completely. Now it's gonna focus to my hand because I blocked everything. Right away goes back to my face. There, it did it right there. It's kind of out of focus. Then it gets it right away. Yeah. But there, it's doing that. But overall, like I feel like if you're doing it like this or like, oh there, it's kind of pulsing. Do I agree or disagree with the video? One thing I will say, I've been working with Fujifilm cameras since the beginning. I've had it for about 4 years. I've used it for professional gigs. One thing I want you guys to understand, just because you see a video, I see the comments are like, I'm selling the Fujifilm and all this stuff. The reality is this, if you're not making like a full-time living with the camera, it doesn't matter what camera you use, to be honest. Now, this camera is not cheap. It's $2,500. So I do agree that Fujifilm needs to do a better job on their autofocus. That being said, since I've used it professionally, I used it for weddings, I've used it for corporate gigs, photo shoots, everything, festivals, and I've never had an issue, even with the X-T4. And now that I have the Fujifilm XH2s, it's much better. Does it lag behind the other competitors? Absolutely, 100%. Fujifilm, for $2,500, this camera should be much more like tag sharp with the autofocus. I don't think it's that bad. I don't think it's an issue. I also know how to set my cameras, and I know the limitation of the Fujifilm cameras. I have right now tracking 5 and sensitivity 4, the autofocus speed, and it works just fine. I've never had an issue with this. Does it miss with other lenses? Yes, like the Sigma 18 to 50, it misses. It literally messed up one of my gigs, and thankfully the client was cool and was like, oh, don't worry about it, and I had to use a 33 1.4, and we did the exact same shot and it didn't miss. So that's when I learned, I'm like, okay, if I want to use Fujifilm for professional work, I'm gonna only have to use the linear motor lenses and the 16 to 55, the 50 to 140, and the 90. Took a while there. See, I don't think Fujifilm, for the price range and the firmware updates, it shouldn't have done that. But my client has never done that. I've never had someone like to do that. So I think it's pretty good. I like it. Like I said, be careful of these videos. And I see all the people, I'm switching. Honestly, I'm gonna be honest, I think I would switch too if I could go back in time, but I've invested way too much into the Fujifilm system. But not just that, I know the Fujifilm camera. I know what settings to use for certain situations because I've used it that often in different situations that I know I'm like, okay, I gotta use this lens and this tracking speed and this autofocus speed, or else it's not gonna hit, and stuff like that. And I don't wanna learn that with Sony, and I'm pretty sure I won't have to because it's pretty solid. But this has never let me down that way where I'm like, I lost a shot, I didn't that. I think that's excuses. Just learn your camera, stop buying things and thinking like, this camera's gonna fix all my problems. I've used Sony cameras and it's let me down once, but it's probably user error, to be honest. And I'm just comfortable with my camera, I know how to use it. But Fujifilm should fix that. And if it doesn't really matter. Like, this camera, I pay for it, it's all good, I'm still getting clients and everything's good. And I've never had an issue with a client saying like, oh, that was out of focus, because I probably won't use that shot. Common sense. But yeah, it's whatever, it's like a 50-50. Does it stink that Fujifilm doesn't fix their autofocus? Yeah, it's frustrating. But if you learn your camera, like I did, I know what settings to use, I know what to do. I'm putting tracking on the right eye only. I'm not telling it to go either, it's just the right eye. And I'm telling it to be very sticky and very fast, because I want it to be where if it lost me like this, I want it to get back to my face really quick. But that's the issue, like it's inconsistent sometimes. Well, I don't know, it's doing really good right now. But yeah, I love Fujifilm. I even make pins. You can get yours on Etsy, link down below. But that just shows you, like, I love it. I even make pins. I love Fujifilm. All in all, learn how to use your camera. Stop looking at all these videos, and I'm talking to myself. Like I said, oh snap, if I had the Sony, I would never miss. But then I'm like, I've never really missed this. Like I've never missed a shot where I lost a client, I lost money. And even for personal use, like content creation, doesn't matter what camera you use, you're gonna be fine. Stop looking at these videos like, I'm done, I'm selling. Unless you're a professional, but the thing is, I'm like, if you're a real professional, most likely, these videos don't even bother you because you're like, I'm using manual focus lenses that don't even have an option for autofocus. And if I am, I'm using Sony because of the, and you can't say low light because that was my issue, but now I buy lights and I don't know. That's my rant. All right, my rant's over. Hopefully you guys learned something. And shout out to that guy that made the video, made me want to test it out. I do feel like his Fujifilm is not working, to be honest. But if it is, and it is, because I have been seeing the glitches on the firmware update. I will say the wide tracking is trash. It is trash. It's like pointless. It's only good for like objects that are not moving, like, and even then, like you can't do nothing crazy. It just has to be simple. I have a video coming up soon with the Fujifilm 16 to 55 versus the Sigma 18 to 50, I believe. No, the 18 to 35 1.8. I want to see if it was any difference. Long story short, I think I'm sticking to this one because it just doesn't miss and it's old reliable. It's good. It's good stuff, guys. More content, more videos. Check out the pins. God bless.